The film begins with the story of the discovery of the first metahuman more than 3 centuries ago, paving the way for a new age of gods and monsters. 30 years ago, Jonathan and Martha Kent found an infant, Kal-El, from another planet and adopted him as their son, Clark. 3 years ago, Clark became Superman, the most powerful metahuman and superhero of the people of Metropolis. 3 weeks ago, Superman stopped the forces of Boravia from invading Jarhanpur, sparking a conflict between the two countries over Superman's interference. As a result, a mysterious villain, the Hammer of Boravia, arrives and defeats Superman in battle. Superman collapses, wounded somewhere in the Arctic. He's in very bad shape, so he whistles for Krypto the Superdog to help. Krypto takes Superman to the Fortress of Solitude, where a group of robots strap the Man of Steel to a bed and leave him in the sun so he can heal himself. The robots also play a video message from Kal-El's late parents, Jor-El and Lara. After recovering sufficiently, Superman flies back to Metropolis to continue his battle with Hammer, who is being controlled by evil billionaire Lex Luthor. When Superman tries to fight back, Hammer proves to be the better warrior. He defeats Superman and reaches Luthor through a special door. We learn that Hammer is none other than Luthor's partner Ultraman. Luthor later meets with other government officials from ARG-US, including Rick Flag Sr., because Superman interferes in Boravian affairs due to his alliance with the United States government. Luthor also hates Superman because he looks down on ordinary humans. Luthor also targets a civilian named Malik Ali because he helped Superman during his battle with Hammer. Meanwhile, Clark goes to his job at the Daily Planet, where he works with Lois Lane and Jimmy Olsen. He watches reports of Superman's involvement in Boravia, while Boravia's president, Vasile Gurkos, criticizes him for stopping the Boravian military's efforts. Later that night, Lois finds Clark cooking dinner at her apartment, as they have been dating for some time and she knows he is Superman. He decides to let her give him his interview as Superman, but Lois scolds Clark for getting involved in foreign affairs when he should have stayed away. Clark defends himself, saying that innocent lives were at stake. Lois suggests they get some rest. Luthor heads to Antarctica with Ultraman and his henchwoman, Angela Spica/the Engineer, who has had nanites injected into her bloodstream so she can create any weapon he can imagine. The villains break into the Fortress of Solitude and kidnap Krypto before the Engineer can hack into the computer system. He sees a message from Jor-El and Lara, and Clark learns something he did not know before. Luthor has his goons release a small monster that transforms into a giant kaiju and terrorizes Metropolis. Superman appears and tries to calmly subdue the monster, but he is met by 3 other metahumans, Green Lantern, Mr. Terrific, and Hawkgirl of the Justice Gang, which is funded by billionaire Maxwell Lord. Superman tries to talk them out of their terms, but Mr. Terrific drops a bomb into the monster's stomach, causing it to explode from the inside, panicking Superman. As the citizens celebrate their escape, breaking news hits the city. Luthor sends a video message from the Fortress of Solitude and has it translated for the world to hear. Superman then hears the part he never heard before. Jor-El and Lara plainly state that they are sending Kal-El to conquer Earth. The citizens immediately turn against Superman and declare him their first public enemy. Superman is disappointed that his parents would ask him to do this, so he leaves superheroics to the Justice Gang, such as fighting an intergalactic demon, while he has a heart-to-heart talk with Lois about what he should do next. Media figures such as Peacemaker also openly criticize Superman. He also learns that Luthor has taken Krypto, but when he visits the billionaire, he denies to Superman that he has his dog. Superman decides to turn himself over to the US government. Flag hands Superman over to Luthor, who imprisons him in a pocket dimension that Luthor created as a prison for several other people, including his ex-girlfriend he has a grudge against. He puts Superman in a cell with a metahuman named Joseph/Metamorpho, whose son baby Joey is in a separate cell with one of Luthor's goons. Since Metamorpho can create any form of organic matter, Luthor forces him to create kryptonite to weaken Superman. Luthor's girlfriend Eve Teschmacher is fed up with his constant abuse, so she calls Jimmy at the Daily Planet because they have had a falling out before. She meets him alone, and it appears that he is working behind Luthor's back. Meanwhile, Lois goes to meet with the Justice Gang to ask for help in saving Superman. But only Mr. Terrific helps Lois and takes her to Luthor Corp in his hovercraft to find Clark. In the pocket dimension, Luthor brings the Master in front of Superman and threatens him before killing him, leaving Superman heartbroken. Luthor also threatens to attack those closest to the Man of Steel. Superman's horror at the death of an innocent man shocks Metamorpho. Metamorpho generates a powerful beam of energy that is close enough to sunlight to reactivate Superman. He breaks out of the cell and immediately rescues baby Joey, and then finds and frees Krypto as well. The heroes fight off Luthor's goons, but are nearly pulled into a black hole inside the dimension. After Terrific kills some of Luthor's goons, Lois and Terrific arrive at Luthor Corp and find the door to the pocket dimension. They enter it, but Terrific warns that the number of times Luthor opens the pocket dimension could have disastrous consequences. They find Superman, Metamorpho, Krypto, and baby Joey, and they all manage to escape the pocket dimension before the portal closes. Lois brings Clark back to Ma and Pa Kent's house in Smallville so he can recover. There, Clark talks to Jonathan about doing the right thing, and his father tells him that his decisions have made him a hero. Luthor learns that Superman has escaped and panics. After insulting Eve one last time, she goes to the server room and calls Jimmy, saying she will give him whatever he needs to defeat Luthor, on the condition that they hang out for the weekend. Jimmy reluctantly agrees, but Eve finds Ultraman, who drags her out. She manages to send the files to Jimmy, but Jimmy is upset to see that they are just sexy selfies that Eve took at Luthor Corp. When he shows them to Lois, she learns that the photographs contain important documents and evidence that Eve was gathering information against her boyfriend. Lois relays this information to Editor-in-Chief Perry White, and he accompanies her, Jimmy, and fellow Planet employees Cat Grant, Steve Lombard, and Ron Troop aboard Terrific's ship to expose the villain. Luthor opens the pocket dimension once again to imprison Eve, but this causes a rift and Metropolis is split. At the same time, Gurkos invades Jarhanpur with the Boravian army, intent on killing the protesters. The children of Jarhanpur wave the flag and call out for Superman to save them. Superman watches the events unfold and Terrific tells him to take over Metropolis, as the black hole could destroy the city. As he tries to close the rift, Ultraman appears and starts yelling at him. It is revealed that he is a clone of Superman created by Luthor to kill the real Superman. The engineer joins the fight and tries to kill Superman by putting nanites around his neck, but he flies too high above Earth's atmosphere, causing the engineer to faint and lose control of the nanites, but she escapes. Using his henchmen to control Ultraman, Luthor gains the upper hand over Superman until Clark blows the whistle for Krypto. Superdog destroys Luthor's drone cameras that allow him to track Ultraman, so that Superman can respond fairly. Superman then puts Ultraman in the path of a flying bus, which sends the clone into a black hole. Meanwhile, up in the sky, reporters from the Daily Planet upload evidence of Luthor's ties to Boravia to their website, specifically in the hopes that he can turn a portion of Jarhanpur into his own king-ruled nation, exposing him to the world. Back in Jarhanpur, Superman has called in Guy, Metamorpho, and Hawkgirl to protect the people. Guy destroys tanks with his ring. Metamorpho uses his abilities against the brutal soldiers, while Hawkgirl flies into Gurko's castle, kills his guards, and then flies out the window with him. The tyrant thinks Hawkgirl believes in Superman's moral values and won't kill him. She mocks him and strangles him to death. Superman breaks into Luthor Corp to confront Luthor, while Terrific manages to break into the computer system and bridge the rift. Luthor yells about how he planned the Boravia-Jarhanpur conflict specifically to kill Superman, but the Man of Steel gives an impassioned speech about how he's human just like the people of Earth. Before Luthor can lash out, Krypto comes out and beats up the billionaire. It is then revealed that Luthor's plot has been exposed, and he escapes, but is defeated, later arrested and sent to Bel Reve. Metamorpho also becomes part of the Justice League. The people of Metropolis, as well as the rest of the world, once again see Superman as a true hero. He then meets Lois for an interview, and they share a passionate kiss while floating in the air. Also, Jimmy and Eve come together after she and everyone else are freed from the captivity of the pocket dimension. Superman later returns to the Fortress of Solitude, where he befriends a robot. He is visited by his cousin, Kara Zor-El/Supergirl, who comes to pick up Krypto because he is her dog. Superman is then laid out on a bed in the sun to gain energy, while the robot recounts happy memories of his childhood with Ma and Pa Kent. During the credits, Superman is seen hugging Krypto, looking at Earth from the moon. Post-credits, Superman and Mr. Terrific comment on the renovation of a building in the city, with Superman noting that the building is uneven, which irritates Terrific. The story ends with this: